Every once in a while, you run across a project that you are simply just happy when you get it running, and then you move on to the next project because you need a break. Sometimes, you go back to the area, factory, or base that you completed to tweak things, or, in my case, have to go back to make sure that you aren't being buried in nuclear waste buildup. Then, you sometimes have that project that surprises you. Then you have to go back just to fix something, or go back because something isn't right. Sometimes you end up with a project that you just want to get completed, so you can get back to what you enjoy in the game. So, when it comes time to decorate it, maybe you just want to get it up to your standards. Maybe you just aren't feeling inspired. Maybe you don't have time to come up with a crazy design. Or maybe an intricate design doesn't interest you. Today, we're going to share how to shoebox your builds, so that you can have them blend in with the rest of your design throughout your playthrough or save, and we are going to talk about that right now. Getting straight into it, I believe that anyone can decorate a shoebox. Chances are that most of us have decorated a cereal box or a shoebox at some point in our lives, or any box. Let's not get too caught up in the details here. Have you ever drawn on a binder or a pair of Converse sneakers? That's what I'll be showing you today in Satisfactory. You see, I have this nuclear power plant over here known as the Hog. I started laying this out and building up to getting it online while I was grinding up through the tech tiers. In previous videos of this Megabase guide series, many of them share various design techniques that I employ while playing Satisfactory. This entire playthrough is being made to help you get the most fun and productivity for the time that you put in. No matter what your schedule, I'd like to continue this theme throughout the series. So, how did I double down on this for today's video? What I did for today's video is put the main aesthetic tips from my guides into practice, and I'm going to show you many of them in practice today. This is especially helpful when you aren't feeling inspired, whatever the reason may be. In my case, I have been waiting to complete the aesthetic pass of the Hog facility here, mainly because I knew that one day it could be captured for you, and that I'd want to share this kind of information with you. Well, I am honestly tired of waiting, and I also had a huge learning curve when first learning nuclear power, especially because I wanted it to be eco-friendly. I didn't want to put a timer on my playthrough either, no matter how large it was, so I wanted to be able to recycle the nuclear waste. This will be a condensed guide on a very simple decorative design or theme, a framework of sorts to integrate however you desire. This should have value to any watcher, no matter their phase in their creative journey. The Hog here is divided into 6 modules actually, with excess water modules on the side. I left a lot of space between each module to plan ahead for logistics, but to also leave room for creativity. Let's follow my tips from previous videos so that we can minimize creative creep and put those tips to practice, just as a watcher of this series might, and see what we can come up with. Now, starting with the most logical tip, I want to make sure the Hog continues to be prepared for expansion later. If I determine I should add more modules in this area, I'm going to leave the top of the structure semi-open, which will save on materials and help to minimize creative creep. Committing to a roof can personally make me feel as though a modular structure is complete, so I wait to cap them off until I am content with the size of the modules lumped together. I used a similar strategy with the other builds in each biome, like with the alternate recipe videos. The roofs are very simple to remove as well, and the structures are open so that you can see the inner workings from more angles. Once I complete another set of modules to expand the capacity of this facility a bit more, I'll use the tip from the previous video, which is to use multiple layers for the final roof. This will add some depth to the shoebox, like icing on a cake, but that'll come later. You can see how when I shoebox something in, I focus on adding depths with the natural angles of the modules. I really didn't know exactly how this was going to end up looking until I started. And you'll see that I continue following the tips as we go along through the video and show you how they really do make this an easy process while you are sitting in a meeting, or binge watching a show, or sitting in the back of your rig's cab after a long day's haul, whatever is going on. Alright, that's enough about roofs for a moment. Let's talk about walls. For my save, I am going with an open kind of build for the most part, so that you can see all of the guts and all of that. But there is a unique advantage that comes from this. Less walls and windows means less objects in the area for the game to render, so this style really works for me, and allows me to really focus on making these examples for you. As recommended before, make sure to experiment with your definition of a traditional wall. Mix and match pieces of architecture from the Awesome Shop along with your standard fix-it structural pieces. That's what I would recommend. beams, pillars, even signs all work fantastic together, as mentioned in previous videos, with minimal fidgeting and quirkiness compared to other titles that I have built in. So I really appreciate the time Coffee Stain has put into the user experience when building, instead of dumping development effort into procedural maps, for example. I also like my builds to look somewhat grounded in reality, in reference to gravity. But this game isn't like 7 Days to Die, or maybe Ark Survival Evolved, so you can really integrate any of these techniques into your current creative flow. There isn't like structural integrity implemented into this game so far. If you like this type of series that's designed for modular, repeatable, transparent design processes that are designed to maximize your playtime and to be modular with your goals in the game on an individual basis, then be sure to boop that like button and leave a comment down low to let me know that you appreciate what this channel is doing. Maybe you like what I'm trying to build a community around. Maybe this helps you chill and get in the zone while building, or just share some strategies for Satisfactory within the community itself. And before we move on and discuss the second phase of the optic transformation of this facility as we do in previous videos, a friendly reminder that pillars and beams, as recommended before, really are the way, and to experiment with the awesome shop collection when it comes to this. Both of these suggestions were covered more in depth on previous videos, so seriously, you should check out the Minimizing Creative Creep videos in the Megabase playlist. Those who have watched them have had some very positive feedback on how these strategies help them. And there are even more strategies packed into those videos if you care to learn more than just this condensed design guide today has to offer. In the second phase of design, this is where we can spend time on custom freeforming or placement of objects to really enhance or implement unique features to take this shoebox to the next level. I keep things simple here, and I use this phase to add some depth to the corners of the build and connect the modules from both the left and the right columns in the center. I chose to really lean into this connection in the middle, and this is what I came up with. I hope you like it. Don't forget to experiment with snapping walls and barriers to come up with the interesting themes and structural detail. I like to go about this in a vertical and horizontal fashion that is Zoopable, as you can see with my road systems I tend to set up, and my framing for windows. I wrapped up by adding some lighting and some signage to hopefully get your attention. If you watched this video this far, let me know if you like the signs I have been building for the thumbnails in this Megabase series. I hope you do, because I think this is quickly becoming one of my favorite parts of the process for making these areas or examples to show to you, because I like to name my builds. And maybe one day I could turn this structure into like a six-legged pig to really drive this project's name, the hog, but for now, this sign will do. This wasn't meant to be an exhaustive, end-all be-all type guide, more like a calibration resource to help you organize your own creativity, or whatever else it is that you can get from the video. If you decide to watch my videos on mute, for example, just for the clips for inspiration while you listen to music, that's fine. I find myself doing that quite often, truth be told, and I hope that you got some value out of this video today. Be sure to come back and rewatch any video in this series as needed. There is still more to cover, so be sure to subscribe to catch my tiny channel before the algorithm swallows it up whole. Stay fresh, play how you want, how you can, with what's effective for your goals and schedule, and, most importantly, stay you. Sneaky joke insert, my wife told me yet another place she saw our house number out in public today, as she always seems to see it. You know, like that number 20-something movie back in the day. I told her that she was like a walking abacus. And I am still waiting for my daughter to chime in with her, "Dad, you build literal calculators in video games" jab that she's been on lately. See you later.